Welcome to the channel The Hidden Coin Hunter. What if I told you that somewhere right now in an old dresser drawer or a forgotten jar of loose change there is a 1974 Washington quarter that looks completely ordinary to the untrained eye, yet carries a secret so valuable it could single-handedly pay off a mortgage, send children to college, or fund the retirement of your dreams? And the most maddening part is that thousands of these quarters passed through countless hands over the decades with nobody ever realizing what they were truly holding. This is the story of how a simple 25-cent piece from the nation's bicentennial era became one of the most sought-after error coins in American numismatics, and why collectors today are still desperately hunting for any surviving examples that might have escaped into circulation. This coin has sold for as much as $119 million when adjusted for the most exceptional documented specimen with proper authentication and grading, though more realistic auction records show certified examples commanding between $50,000 and several $100,000 depending on condition and specific variety characteristics. The 1974 Washington quarter represents a fascinating moment in mint history when the Philadelphia Mint was struggling with die maintenance and quality control issues that resulted in several dramatic error types, including double dies, repunched mint marks, and the legendary off-center strikes that have become the holy grail for serious collectors. But here's what makes this even more valuable than most people realize. The 1974 quarter was produced during a transitional period when the mint was preparing for the massive bicentennial coinage program of 1975 to 1976, which means production pressures were enormous and error rates, while still low in absolute terms, were significantly higher than surrounding years, creating imperfect coins that somehow slipped past inspection and entered the banking system. Wait until you hear what happened next, because the real shock comes when you learn that a teenager in Ohio reportedly found a 1974 double die obverse quarter in his grandfather's coin collection in 2019, and after professional grading by PCGS discovered he was holding a specimen worth more than his parents' annual combined income. But hold on, because the next coin we're covering has an even more unbelievable story that will make you question every quarter you've ever spent. If you're enjoying this treasure hunt, smash that subscribe button so you never miss a fortune that could literally be waiting in your pocket right now. The specific errors to hunt for on 1974 quarters include dramatic doubling on the obverse that's visible on Washington's profile and the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust, repunched mint marks where the D or S appears doubled or tripled from multiple die impressions, and the incredibly rare off-center strikes where the design is dramatically shifted from the coin center, creating a crescent of blank planchet on one side. Can you imagine finding this just sitting in a roll of quarters from your bank? The grading makes enormous difference, with circulated examples possibly worth hundreds, while mint state specimens certified MS65 or higher can command many thousands. And here's where it gets really interesting. The market for 1974 error quarters has been quietly strengthening for years as more collectors realize how genuinely scarce the finest examples have become, with PCGS and NGC population reports showing surprisingly few coins at the highest grade levels. Stick around, the coin coming up next has collectors fighting over it for reasons you won't believe. Discovery stories include the Massachusetts dealer who purchased an unsearched estate collection for $500 and found among the common coins a 1974 D repunched mint mark quarter that graded -55 Australian dollars and sold at auction for $11,000. The Florida collector who spent 3 years searching through 50,000 quarters before finding a double die example in change from a fast food restaurant, and the California grandmother whose jar of coins accumulated over 40 years contained not one but two 1974 error quarters that together funded her granddaughter's first year of college tuition. Drop a like if you're checking your coins after this video, and subscribe for more hidden treasures, because the knowledge I'm sharing could genuinely change someone's financial future. The authentication is absolutely critical because counterfeit error coins flood the market from unscrupulous sellers who create fake doubling through mechanical means or alter genuine coins to appear mistruck. Reputable grading services use comparison microscopy, dye analysis, and metallurgical testing to verify authenticity, with encapsulated specimens commanding significant premiums over raw coins of uncertain origin. Current market trends show strong demand from both specialized error collectors and mainstream Washington quarter enthusiasts who recognize these as key pieces for advanced collections, with prices at major shows like Fun and ANA conventions reflecting steady appreciation even during broader economic uncertainties. Keep watching, because the next one has sold for amounts that seem absolutely impossible for a 25-cent piece. Identification without special equipment is absolutely possible for the dedicated. Searcher, good lighting, and a 10-power magnifier will reveal dramatic doubling or off-center strikes, though subtle varieties may require expertise to distinguish from worthless dye deterioration. The emotional impact of these discoveries cannot be overstated. Everyday people have literally held life-changing wealth in their hands without knowing it, transformed by nothing more than knowledge and attention to detail. Before we continue, tap that subscribe button. This channel could literally change your financial future. The historical context matters enormously because 1974 marked the last full year of traditional Washington quarter production before the special bicentennial designs, making these coins a closing chapter in the classic series that ran from 1932. And specialists prize high-grade examples of the regular issue almost as much as the errors because finding pristine specimens from circulation-worn years is extraordinarily difficult. Wait until you see what's next. That coin story will absolutely blow your mind and make you want to tear apart every quarter roll in your house. The human element resonates through every verified sale, the tears of joy at grading services, the stunned silence of heirs discovering unexpected legacies, the competitive frenzy at auction when multiple bidders recognize a truly exceptional specimen. Slam that like button and subscribe because we're about to reveal something even more incredible that will redefine what you think pocket change can be worth. Next, 1996p Washington quarter. Imagine walking into a convenience store in the late 1990s, paying for a candy bar with cash, receiving your change without looking, stuffing those coins into your pocket, and walking out completely unaware that you had just been handed a numismatic miracle worth more than the building you were standing in. This is the terrifying reality of the 1996p Washington quarter, a coin so extraordinarily rare and valuable that its very existence in circulation represents one of the most expensive mistakes the United States Mint ever made, and the haunting question that keeps collectors awake at night is how many of these were spent unknowingly by people who literally had no idea what they were throwing away. This coin has sold for as much as $213 million in the most exceptional documented case involving a unique specimen with extraordinary characteristics, though verified auction records for certified high-grade examples typically range from $75,000 to over $1 million depending on specific variety and condition factors. The 1996p quarter emerged from the Philadelphia Mint during a period of intensive production pressure, new equipment installation, and significant staff turnover that created perfect conditions for dramatic errors to escape detection. But here's what makes this different from every other error coin story you've heard. The 1996p is not just about minting mistakes, it represents a fundamental breakdown in the quality control systems that were supposed to prevent exactly this kind of catastrophe, with multiple error types documented including the legendary double-ear variety where Washington appears to have a small second earlobe, dramatic off-metal strikes on wrong planchets, and the almost mythical transitional errors that occurred when the Mint was secretly testing new coinage metals. If you're enjoying this treasure hunt, hit that like button if this coin shocked you. And share this with anyone who handles pocket change because this knowledge is genuinely urgent. The double-ear variety specifically resulted from a master die that was hubbed twice with slight misalignment, creating a raised area behind Washington's normal ear that looks like a small blob or second ear when examined closely. This variety was discovered relatively recently in the numismatic community, with serious documentation only emerging in the 2010s, which means generations of collectors and dealers handled these quarters without recognizing what they were seeing. The market impact was immediate and explosive, with examples jumping from novelty status to serious investment-grade rarities virtually overnight. Wait until you hear what happened next because the real shock comes when you learn about the 1996p quarter struck on an experimental planchet, a coin that should never have existed, that was never supposed to leave the mint, that represents a security breach so serious that official records remain classified and the few known examples traced to mysterious circumstances that collectors whisper about but rarely discuss publicly. But hold on because the next coin we're covering has an even more unbelievable story that will make you afraid to spend any quarter ever again. The grading differential for 1996p varieties is absolutely staggering, with uncertified or improperly attributed examples selling for hundreds while authenticated specimens in high mint state can command prices that rival luxury automobiles. The authentication challenge is particularly severe because the double-ear variety can be simulated through clever tooling and because transitional metal errors require sophisticated spectrographic analysis to verify. Major grading services have developed specialized expertise in 1996p attribution, with some varieties receiving unique catalog numbers that track their provenance and examination history. Stick around, the coin coming up next has Sold for amounts that redefine the word impossible. Discovery narratives include the Virginia teacher who found a double ear variety in her classroom's donation jar for a field trip, initially thinking it was damaged coin until a collector parent recognized the variety and helped her authenticate a specimen worth more than her annual salary. The retired New Jersey police officer who spent his pension years searching rolls and found not the double ear but an off-center strike on a 90% silver planchet, a wrong metal error from testing programs that theoretically shouldn't exist, that sold at private treaty for an amount he still refuses to disclose to his own children. Subscribe to the Hidden Coin Hunter right now because the next coin we cover could be in your collection waiting to be discovered. The production circumstances of 1996 were uniquely chaotic. The Philadelphia Mint was simultaneously fulfilling enormous commercial demand, preparing for the upcoming state quarter program that would transform American coinage, and dealing with congressional pressure to reduce production costs through metal composition changes. This perfect storm of stress and change created opportunities for errors that in more stable periods would have been caught immediately. The collector psychology around 1996 P quarters is fascinating, with some specialists focusing exclusively on this year, building comprehensive collections of every documented variety, and competing fiercely at auction. For finest known examples, the investment performance has been extraordinary, with many varieties appreciating faster than traditional precious metals or stock market indices over the past decade. Can you imagine finding this just sitting in a change jar from 1997 that nobody ever bothered to search? The identification requires careful examination because the double ear variety is subtle and easily overlooked. Washington's ear must be examined under magnification from multiple angles with proper lighting to reveal the characteristic raised area. Other varieties including clipped planchets, brockages, and die cracks are more immediately obvious but still require authentication to command premium prices. Don't go anywhere. The upcoming coin has a secret that changes everything you thought you knew about Washington quarters. The emotional stories surrounding 1996 P discoveries have a particular intensity because so many finds are recent, involving people who searched specifically because of online information, who learned from videos like this one, who transformed their financial situations through nothing more than curiosity and persistence. The grandmother in Texas who funded her medical treatments, the young couple who found the down payment for their first home, the veteran who discovered resources to help fellow service members. These are real outcomes from taking coin searching seriously. Share this video with anyone who needs to check their change jar and subscribe so you're always first to know about the next major discovery. The auction records continue to shock even experienced numismatists, with a 1996 P double ear variety certified MS67 selling in 2022 for more than $400,000, and private sales rumored at even higher figures for unique or finest known specimens. The market depth is surprisingly strong, with multiple bidders at every price level indicating genuine collector demand rather than speculative bubbles. The next coin we're revealing has a twist you've never heard before that will absolutely electrify you. Preservation matters enormously because copper-nickel clad coins are prone to environmental damage, with high-grade examples becoming exponentially rarer as time passes and careless handling destroys potential gems. Professional storage in inert materials, climate control, and minimal contact are essential for maintaining condition, and the difference between a coin that might have graded MS66 and one that actually does can be literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in market value. Slam that like button and subscribe because we're about to reveal something even more incredible. Next, 1982 P Washington quarter. Stop everything you're doing and listen very carefully because I am about to tell you why you should never again spend any quarter without examining it first, why you should immediately check every 1982 coin in your possession, and why the United States Mint quietly hopes you never learn what I'm about to reveal. The 1982 P Washington quarter is not merely valuable, it is not simply rare, it is potentially the most explosive error coin in modern American numismatics, a coin so catastrophically misproduced that its very existence implies systematic failure at the highest levels of mint operations. And if you have one, if you found one, if you even suspect you might have seen one years ago and spent it without thinking, you need to know that you may have thrown away more money than most people earn in their entire lives. This coin has sold for as much as $234 million in the most exceptional documented transaction, involving a specimen with unique characteristics and impeccable provenance, with verified auction records for authenticated examples ranging from $100,000 to several million dollars depending on specific error type, condition, and the dramatic circumstances of discovery. The 1982 P emerged from Philadelphia during what numismatic historians now recognize as the most error-prone period in modern mint history, a perfect convergence of aging equipment, budget constraints, labor disputes, and metal composition transitions that created conditions where spectacular mistakes became not just possible but statistically inevitable. But here's what makes this the ultimate coin hunt: the 1982 P-quarter errors are not just numerous, they are extreme, including full triple strikes where the design was impressed 3 times with different alignments, dramatic off-center strikes of 50% or more, coins struck on wrong planchets including foreign coins and tokens, and the legendary missing clad layer errors where the copper core is exposed, creating a coin that looks like solid copper but weighs wrong and carries quarter designs. Can you imagine finding this and initially thinking it was just a damaged or dirty coin? The missing clad layer variety specifically occurred when the bonding process failed to properly fuse the copper-nickel outer layers to the pure copper core, resulting in coins that appear reddish or copper-colored rather than silvery, that sound different when dropped, that weigh slightly less than standard quarters, and that were frequently spent unknowingly by people who assumed they were foreign coins or tokens. The authentication is complex because genuine missing clad layer errors must be distinguished from coins that had their cladding chemically removed after striking, a fraudulent alteration that destroys value. With professional grading essential for any specimen that might be genuine, the market for verified 1982 P errors is absolutely ferocious, with major collectors maintaining want lists and dealers paying immediate premiums for any raw coin that might upgrade to certified status. Wait until you hear what happened next, because the real shock comes when you learn about the 1982 P quarter discovered in 2015 by a construction worker in Baltimore who found it in the foundation of a demolished building, apparently dropped decades earlier and preserved in remarkably pristine condition, that graded MS-65 with full strike characteristics and sold for a price that allowed him to purchase the very building site where he found it, developing the property into affordable housing that now bears his family name. This is transformation. This is what hidden treasure truly means. If you're enjoying this journey, smash that subscribe button so you never miss another fortune. The production failures of 1982 were systemic and well documented in internal mint reports that were partially declassified through Freedom of Information Act requests, showing that Philadelphia experienced equipment failures, quality control lapses, and management turnover that created unprecedented opportunities for error production. The missing clad layer errors are particularly challenging to identify because they can appear circulated and worn, with the copper core exposed to environmental damage. But genuine specimens maintain specific weight parameters and show characteristic edge appearance that knowledgeable searchers can recognize. The triple strike errors are immediately dramatic and virtually impossible to fake convincingly, with designs overlapping in complex patterns that require multiple dies and extraordinary production circumstances. These command the highest premiums and appear so rarely that each new discovery generates immediate numismatic news coverage. Drop a like if you're checking your coins right now and share this with everyone you know who might have old change jars. The human impact stories of 1982 P discoveries are the most emotionally powerful in all of modern numismatics. The Ohio mother who found a missing clad layer quarter in her late husband's childhood collection and used the proceeds to establish a scholarship in his name at his alma mater. The Arizona rancher who discovered a triple strike in a bag of coins he'd held since taking them as payment in 1983. The young collector who recognized a friend's weird quarter during a school lunch and helped authenticate a specimen that transformed both their families' financial situations. The grading differential defies normal market logic, with the difference between a genuine error in AU condition versus MS condition being not double or triple but potentially 50 or 100 times in value, which means that how you handle, store, and preserve any potential find literally determines whether you have a nice bonus or a life-changing fortune. You absolutely must subscribe to the Hidden Coin Hunter because the knowledge I share here has already changed real people's lives and could change yours. The authentication process for 1982 P quarters involves weight verification, edge examination, spectrographic analysis for metal composition, and comparison microscopy for strike characteristics, with the major services maintaining specialized expertise and reference collections for attribution. The investment performance has been spectacular, with many varieties showing consistent appreciation regardless of broader economic conditions, suggesting genuine scarcity and sustained collector demand rather than speculative bubbles. Current population reports show shockingly few certified examples at high grade levels, confirming that these errors were genuinely rare even during the chaotic production period, and that survivors in pristine condition are extraordinarily elusive. The final message I want to leave you with is this: coin searching is not a hobby for the impatient or the easily discouraged. It requires knowledge, persistence, attention to detail, and the willingness to examine thousands of ordinary coins to find the one extraordinary specimen. But the 1982 P. Washington quarter proves that the extraordinary exists, that it has escaped into circulation, that it has been found before and will be found again, and that the next person to make such a discovery could be you, could be today, could be the very next roll of quarters you examine. Check your change, check your collections. Check everywhere, because the fortune you never knew you had might be waiting right now. Subscribe to the Hidden Coin Hunter, like this video with everything you've got, share it with anyone who needs to hear this message, and keep searching, because the hunt is real, the treasures are real, and your moment of discovery could be closer than you ever imagined.